this boardroom. The next item is 15.1 is to approve the contract for our new district superintendent. And I'd just like to kind of give a couple of highlights of what this board has gone through in a positive way. And first of all, I would have to start with Dr. John Bernard. One of the biggest gifts that we have received, I think, is the willingness of Dr. Bernard to come into our district and bring leadership that is a positive, organized, productive manner. So without him, I don't think we'd be sitting here quite as optimistic and happy today, which we are. We're optimistic today. And so I wanted to acknowledge that that's been one of our first gifts, is Dr. Bernard coming forward. Our second gift was meeting Dr. Nellie Meyer. And I was always optimistic, I think the board was always optimistic, that we could find leadership that would be positive, productive, intelligent, well-reasoned, communicative, responsive. I don't want to make her out to be a saint, but Dr. Bernard did raise the bar on all this. And we went in through the search process. We got leadership associates to come on board with us and help us through this process. They did a thorough, comprehensive search throughout the state, throughout the nation. Actually, we had a number of applicants that they screened and we reviewed, and we met several times to go through those various candidate applications, whittling it down to ones that we thought would be the best match for the district. And out of that group, we did conduct the interviews back on August 5th, and at the point we met Nellie Meyer, we just were ecstatic, because we could not believe that we could get someone we knew we could attract, but we were thrilled to get someone of such quality. And some of the concepts that come with her are words like integrity, communication, relationships. She can make the tough decisions, but do it with grace and professionalism. So we are thrilled with her educational background, her knowledge base. So we proceeded to select her as our finalist, and that was back on August 5th. And the next day, what I did do was send out a letter to all district staff giving you some highlights that we had selected a finalist, and I gave you some background on her, what her professional position has been. And you probably saw, if you saw that letter and have looked into her, you've had several weeks to kind of look into who she is. And I have to say, in those 3 weeks that her name has been out there, we have received tremendous amounts of positive support, positive commentary, and she's way down in San Diego Unified, so for good news to travel this far, that fast, was really rewarding for us as a board. We took this very, very seriously. We felt that we were bringing in a real change for Mount Diablo Unified, and it started with Dr. Bernard, and we intend to continue that change into a positive future for all of us. So we were thrilled with the commentary that we received, and then we proceeded this past week to have Skype teleconferences, because otherwise we'd have to take an entire busload of people down to San Diego, and it wasn't going to work well. So thanks to technology and Mr. Joe Estrada, we managed to set up some Skype teleconferences, and Nellie on her end was really helpful at helping identify some stakeholders. So we had 7 different groups, and some of the folks in this room were present in those Skype teleconferences with their counterparts in San Diego Unified. So we had principals talking to principals, and we had classified staff talking to classified staff. We had teachers talking to teachers, and we had cabinet members talking to cabinet members. We had parents talking to parents in both of our districts. So from that, I gathered a lot of positive feedback from those conferences, and we appreciated people taking the time to come to those and participate, and Joe setting that up and making sure it worked well. So thank you for that. And then the following day, the board we had a publicly noticed meeting, and we flew down. 4 of us managed to be able to, Mr. Lawrence travels all the time, so it's hard with his job. But Mrs. Dendler, Mrs. Mayo, Mrs. Oakes, and myself were able to go down to San Diego. I was up at 4:30 in the morning with trying to take the flight back and forth in one day. And on their end in San Diego, we enjoyed the fact that they had set up for us, for the board, and it's called a validation visit. And what it means is we had interviewed Dr. Meyer twice in our search with our leadership associates search firm. And when we had selected her as a finalist, what we were looking for is some feedback and conversation from stakeholders down in San Diego to just validate what we actually believed was true about her character and her experience. So we went down, we spent the day talking to various stakeholder groups, and it was one of the most, I would imagine all the rest of the board members would concur with this, it was one of the most rewarding, amazing days. If I could have ever, after 38 years in education, ended my career with people of all walks of life saying such nice things about me and telling stories about me as a quality educator, I would have been thrilled. Probably along the way I alienated a number of folks. But she had, we had special ed parent, we had district administrators, we had parents in general, we had community leaders, we had university representatives. We had folks from all over the place, classified, certificated, all reinforcing the same kinds of qualities about her and the solid character and leadership that she has provided. So we left once again just thrilled that we could bring this kind of leadership to Mount Bellevue Unified. So I just wanted to reinforce that this was an extensive process that we did go through, and we are thrilled that we didn't lose her along the way. She's hung in there with us. So given that, I would like to move to 15.1, which is now the culmination of this journey that we've been taking. And that is to approve the contract for District Superintendent, which is Dr. Nellie Meyer. So I would ask the board if there is a motion at this time.
Just to build suspense. So I motion to, I move that the board approve the appointment of Dr. Nellie Meyer as District Superintendent and approve the contract for that.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Lawrence, second by Mrs. Denler. Any board comments or discussion? Okay, then we will take the vote, and the tension mounts. For some reason, the voting is not coming up. This has nothing to do with anything, but we have electronic school board, which every board meeting you hear from President Hansen saying, why are we using this? Okay, we have the motion, and we will take the vote. Just individuals highlighted here. It's just Mr. Lawrence. Mr. Lawrence uses his own computer. We're always connecting in, so he has to be technologically different. But here's Mr. Estrella.